Today, we talk about the personal development that is needed to become a good evidential medium and hopefully shed some light on it. Evidential mediumship is an excellent opportunity for personal development. Not only that it happens naturally when you practice evidential mediumship, it is also almost an obligation to engage in conscious personal development. Because you have a responsibility. You deal with clients, you deal with sitters, you deal with people who seek healing, guidance, and you have it in your hand to turn that precious moment in their life into a jewel, a step forwards, or a disillusion, or whatever. So, your mediumship capacities, getting the evidence, connecting to spirit, providing the correct message, entering the power and letting the power unfold and become part of the sitter's or the community's life is of course one part of the development of an evidential medium. The other part is personal development. And if you're very good, you also engage in spiritual development. Today's topic is personal development. And that happens naturally through your practice as a medium, because all of the beautiful and challenging moments during that practice will give you so much and will teach you so much and will make you grow in an easy way if you do not hinder it. And that's the crux of the topic. You should not hinder the process, which is happening automatically. And then there's another aspect, your life, the rest of your life. The rest of your life must be part of your mediumship. Sounds for some people strange, but if you're really dedicated to something, you wish to be good. And we don't only want to be good in our mediumship, we also want to meet the responsibility. And not only that, we also, and above all, want to meet the joy of the soul. And the joy of the soul is only accomplished and lived if the spiritual power can fully shine during your mediumship. And that means that all obstacles must have been removed. And the obstacles are your habits, your emotional habits and your mental habits, which simply block the flow. So therefore we need personal development to become aware of what is hindering us in our mediumistic development. Not to talk about the spiritual development as well, which we will do later. So, if you surrender to the power every day, which you should do, there will be an inner direction implanted in your life, in your heart, in your consciousness, that has the objective to guide you into the right directions, which are situations of growth. Not, not situations of comfort. Personal development has nothing to do with your comfort zone. Personal development has everything to do with getting out of your comfort zone into the vast reality of your life, which is beyond your comfort zone. Yeah, that's how it is. There is a clear pattern, a clear step-by-step approach in the development of each medium. In the beginning, we're all afraid, or nervous, or confused, or all together. Then we will get very excited about what we can do and what happens and about these wonderful people and the power that we encounter, even though in the beginning it's not possible to really enter into the power because our vibration is still too low. And if we really like it, we become dedicated. We train, we sit, we engage in the community, which is crucial, right? Because mediumship alone is not possible. Well, that's not true. Evidential mediumship is possible. Spiritual mediumship is very well possible, but evidential mediumship not. And after a while, maybe if you were good, sitting in the circles, getting all the classes, reading some books, seeing some demonstrations, which is all necessary, except the books maybe, I'll talk about that later. Then comes the hybris. After a year, the beginner, who's still a beginner, can do some good things and thinks she is a hotshot and doesn't need anything anymore and can totally understand what's going on. After a while, that phase is already also overcome, and some disillusion comes into play. Not the small disillusions that you have all the time, but a bigger disillusion, and you understand that evidential mediumship is much more difficult than you thought it is. After that is overcome, you alone or with the help of friends, teachers or guides, arrive at the reality of your mediumship. You have to work and you have to enjoy. You have to fight sometimes and you have to let go many other times. And after that, you can slowly, step by step, enter into the full joy of the light of the heart of evidential mediumship, which is the expression of souls. The dwelling in the soul space, the most beautiful thing a human being can achieve. Personal development is the means by which you shape you as a medium. Because the link can only be as good as your capacity of understanding the link is built up. And by that I mean by no means the necessary intellectual capacity of understanding. I mean the subconsciousness, not only understanding, but the subconsciousness development that is taking place through our conscious actions. Because the subconsciousness has to adapt to the situation during an evidential link. We can say, okay, we get out of the way. We can discipline us. Without discipline, you don't get anywhere. But the subconsciousness is always there. And you will not see a medium that is completely free of that. But you will mediums that have worked on themselves for years and decades in such a way that the subconsciousness is enlightened, or more enlightened than before. And that's what we want. We want to enlighten our subconsciousness through the right actions in our life. What are these right actions? First of all, the right intention. You want to be good, and you don't want to act good, you don't want to be seen as good, you want to be good from your heart. You want to express your soul. The soul is pure goodness. Yeah, that's how it is. Then we need 100% dedication. No matter what obstacles, right, here I come, give it to me. That is the only way to become a medium that serves the purpose. We need to be interested. We need to really like it, right? We need to educate ourselves in the topic and in all other topics. Why in all other topics? Because we meet life during a link, especially if you do private sittings. The sitters come with all kinds of issues, and you have to be prepared to deal with them. It's not just grief and the loss of a loved one or losing of her pathway. No, there's a lot. And if you're good and you talk to them, things will unfold during the link, and you will not be only a medium, you will also be a healer. And you will also be a friend. And all this needs a thorough understanding of life through interest in life. So if you really spend your time watching football or frying your brain in front of the PlayStation, you will not get much out of life. It's a waste of your life. But if you look at life, if you feel life, even though it's painful sometimes, you will become a human being that is worth this word. In other words, life experience and conscious life experience is personal development per se. You have to do something alone with people, with these people, with that people, and that means everything that you really do is part of your development that you do for certain reasons. One of them becoming a correct evidential medium. Of course, education in our specific topic is also crucial. So you should see mediums, good mediums. You should understand where mediumship came from, what it is. maybe where it will go to as well, in general and for you personally. There are not so many books out there that really help you with the topic. Actually, practicing mediumship means really that, practicing. Maybe you will find some books that will help you. I can recommend Ivy Northedge, very good ones. One of the few that are very good, especially the ones where she channels her guide Chan. And I also recommend to find out about mediumship outside modern Western mediumship. That means prior to that. For example, you can read the Timaeus from Plato, where he talks about the daemon. The daemon is the Platonists' word for spirit. Very similar the way we use it today. They used it in a way that they denominated several spheres, all kind of beings under that word. The soul, the higher self, spirit beings, they all called it daemon. Well, when we talk about spirit, we mean the same. It's a very misunderstood word outside our community, because it's one word with many layers and meanings. Another nice book is De Mysteris from Iamblichus. It's a famous book. In chapter 3, he talks about mediumistic experiences, and it clearly talks about the experience of being in the power. It was written about 1700 years ago, Plato 500 years earlier, and this is only comprehensible for a medium if she reads that. The scholars don't get that, of course. So, and watch videos, talk to people, and above all, analyze what you do. Your links, your reactions, the reactions of the sitter, your life path. Look at yourself. Where was I 1 year ago? Where was I 2 years ago? Because we can tend to lose ourselves in ourselves and do not understand how we change. This awareness of your own path, of your individual path, from a very practical view as well as from a bigger point of view, is the basics. The need is super needed. Without that, you cannot do nothing, really. So, and of course, that all leads to the factor that you and your life is available for spirit. What is spirit? Think about it. No, don't think too much. Feel about it. No, don't feel too much. Experience it. Connect. Become spirit, because you are spirit. And only if you become consciously spirit, you will be able to really comprehend what is spirit. That goes already beyond personal development and touches upon spiritual development. So, without personal development, we will not become that strong, intelligent, empathic, and mature person that is needed to be a responsible medium. It is one of the most uncomfortable parts of our development and one of the most gratifying. I highly recommend that you don't shy away from what you find on this pathway, but that you take it transform it and offer it to the pathway, to the common pathway that we all are. And then you will see how embedded your life really is. And then you will feel how embedded your soul really is. And then you will become the spiritual power that is embedding the client, the sitter, and the patient in their own part of the spiritual power. And then you are a good medium.